Hey there, Kenneth French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Kenneth French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad you stopped by. Chris Vermeulen is going to show us how to become billionaires in up markets and down markets. And he guarantees it. Just kidding. Chris, I'm so glad you're here because we're going to be chatting for about 15, 20 minutes. We're going to show and add value to the listeners and viewers as to how you've succeeded and maybe how you can help them to succeed. How's that sound?
Sounds great, Kenner. Yeah, thanks for having me. Pleasure to talk markets with you.
Yeah, you like talking markets. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Give me one tip. Give me one little tip that's going to make me money or investors money as it relates to any of your trading suggestions.
One tip. Well, I think the biggest thing as an investor, we all invest money to grow it, right? So my number one tip is don't hold assets that are going down in value. And diversification is the next tip. Don't diversify when it comes to stocks and bonds and spreading your money through various sectors and stocks. Both of those are a great way to ride a roller coaster and really kill your returns.
All right, I like that. So why you? What is the deal? Why are you so good? Give me the whole deal.
All right, yeah. So long story short, I started in the stock market business when I was 16 years old in high school. So I have lived and breathed this. I'm 43 now. This is my passion. It's what I do. I just manage my own money and follow the markets. What really sets me apart is I've gone through everything in the markets. Like I always wanted to be a CEO of a company. I'm like I want to start on the factory, the warehouse floor, and become a CEO.
Hmm.
And so I took that same mentality into trading. I'm like, I want to do everything there is in trading, all the different styles. So I traded small cap stocks, I traded covered calls, I day traded, futures. I used to run a futures trade, day trading chat room. I've done options, forex, you name it. I've done all the different styles. And by knowing all of those and going through them, I found what my brain has been able to identify in the market. I found my sweet spot, how I view the markets, how the markets move. I found a window of opportunity that happens 5 to 12 times a year through various assets. And I've migrated to trading just exchange traded funds, ETFs. So one position we put on at a time. It's so easy. I like it. I look at the stock market like the ocean tide. When the stock market goes up, when the tide goes up, what happens with all boats? They all go up. So it's the same mentality. It doesn't matter what stocks you own. If you're in a bull market, they're all going up. And so the most important part is if you can identify a bear market or a falling market condition, you'll know when to get out of stocks and go to a different asset class that can actually generate returns while the stock market is out of favor and dangerous. So that's it in a nutshell, really what I do.
Yeah, I understand. So you said something very important there. If you can identify things when the market's going down, basically is what you said. Well, give us some of the indicators or key indicators that you would suggest or kind of good things to look for when the market's gonna go down.
Yeah. So there's a couple of the two key aspects really come down to technical analysis, which is what my whole company's about. Technical traders is we follow price charts. So we don't really care about the news. We don't care about fundamental data, economic data. It really means nothing. It does create noise and moves on the charts, but that's not what we follow. So as an investor, we want to invest in something that has probability of going higher, that is already going higher. A
Hmm.
trend is more likely to continue. So we use technical analysis saying, okay, is it making a series of higher highs and higher lows? That's the definition of an uptrend. Does it have strong movement going, money flowing into that space? Is there lots of people putting risk on and dumping their money into it? If there is, then it shows it has signs of a strong trend. And I always try and bring things back to the water because it's a great analogy. So if you think of a surfer floating out past the break in the ocean, floating there, what are they waiting for? They're waiting for a set of waves to roll through the markets. You see a big wave coming on the ocean to surf. Well, the market has 5 to 12 of these every year. And the nice thing about when we see these big sets of waves rolling through, we go, okay, first, does it meet our technical criteria? Yes. If it does, we hop on and we ride that wave. And the nice thing about riding a strong wave is we also know when it's starting to weaken. So we can start trimming off profits, moving up our stops, protecting our portfolio. and then we can just get out of it and wait for the next wave. So technical analysis is the first one. Follow price. The second most important thing is sentiment. What are investors doing? And I've created a series of indicators and tools that allow us to read what's going on in the market. It's almost like playing poker with somebody, and you get to look over their shoulder and see what their hand is. If you know what their hand is, and then you see, what they're betting, you know their strategy, what's going on. Well, we can track where money's flowing to various assets. All the markets are related in some way. If gold is going down, then probably stocks are going up. Money is always sloshing from one asset class to another. If it's coming out of one, it's got to go somewhere else. So I look at about 11 or so different asset classes. We track the money flowing in and out of
Mm.
each of those. And depending where it's going, which asset, it tells us how scared people are or how bullish they are. And so all of those create points and values in our system saying, okay, we've got technically a strong trend. We got money that is not afraid, and there's a dump truckload of money just piling into this space. Let's get in and ride the coattails of this giant wave. And so that's what we focus on. So price and then sentiment. So you got to know where the money's going, and then you want to pick up on like how strong that wave of people pushing money into it is.
I think you probably know that, most of our, obviously, by the way, this kind of French Vast Voice Telling Business Secrets to Entrepreneurs, sponsored by vastsolutionsgroup.com. Basically, at vastsolutionsgroup.com, what we do, we work with, we do tax, finance, and artificial intelligence, usually for entrepreneurs. We've been doing AI for years, by the way. 2018 is when we started. 2010 is when we really started doing the research. Anyway, and most of our clients are, and people who are watching and listening to this, are real estate investors. But at the same time, I think a lot of them do also invest in the market. And I would say they eschew traditional, financial advisors, and I think would potentially be open to, newsletters like what you have, I think, which is pretty impressive, by the way. So now, with that being said, what is your avatar? I mean, the reason I'm giving the foundation of what I just mentioned, I'm wondering how many of the listeners would be kind of part of your avatar. So, what's your avatar?
Yeah, I would say your listeners are our avatars. So we have advisors all around the world using our strategy to boost up their portfolios. Pretty much my ideal avatar is generally 45 plus, people
Mm,
with money, people with a good lifestyle, people who've been through the ringer and back. And they're like, you know what? I want to protect my capital because I'm too old to go through a 10 or 15-year bear market and lose half of my wealth and have to slash my retirement. So pretty much anyone with capital who's not chasing the big bucks. We have very good annual returns, but it's like let's protect our capital first, and then we'll pull money out when it's safe. And so that's what we focus on. Is I focus on people who have logical, who are level-headed, who value protection, they value consistent growth, and they value their lifestyle. They're not out trying to like, how do I make the most money? And every move in the market, they're like, we should have made money. I can't stand trying to help people like that because I can't help them. Chasing money is a very dangerous thing. We let the money, the waves come to us, and then we hop on. So that is my key thing. And I speak to a lot of the investors personally, and pretty much all of us, we're all entrepreneurs. We all own lots of real estate. I mean, I grew up, my dad had over 1,600 doors at one point. So I grew up living and breathing real estate. He used to have the Canadian banks because I'm in Canada, literally give them stacks of folders saying, pick something and give us an offer. Like this is like things are going into foreclosure. And so I'm big. I have multifamily. I own self-storage facility. I've got lots of rental properties. And so do all my clients. Like pretty much all of our customers are very, very savvy, spread out. So this is just a way to allow us to, pull money out of the market and take advantage of a strategy. So what I do is I manage my own money only, and
mm.
people can subscribe and copy the trades that I do, my portfolio allocations. I do work with a brokerage and advisors that will execute it for somebody because most people don't really want to trade their own money. So you can have the whole thing done for you, but I don't actually manage money myself.
I understand. So, yeah, I totally get it. So, as you know, asset allocation is a distribution between, asset classes or investments, stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, etc. So, in general, for your avatar, it sounds like they're in the 40s, 50s. In general, what do you think kind of makes sense as far as asset allocation goes for a portfolio? And I know it's a hard question, by the way. We know all this is for educational purposes only. We won't sue you for for outlining
Yeah.
something, but just in general.
I mean, yeah, it really depends. Like, are you talking like total net worth, like of all your real estate? Like what? It's such a hard question to answer. I would
I
say
got
if
some
you
hard questions, believe me,
I
though.
I would say if you have, like, money with a financial advisor that's got your your buy and hold portfolio, I would, to me, this strategy is much more conservative in terms of protection. So
Mhm.
I actually put all of my money. I put 100% of my stock and bond portfolio just as this strategy because
Mm,
we don't have to ride the roller coaster down, and we maximize returns on the upside. We profit from falling pricing as well. So it really comes down to what people are comfortable. Most people will start off with a couple hundred grand or something just to get a feel for it. They go through a couple trades, they're like, man, that is cool. And then they put in more money and they keep scaling it up, right? So we've got people with 20, 30, $40 million accounts that follow this strategy. I trade my seven-figure account, and I mean, we trade only the most liquid ETFs, the SPY, the QQQ,
mhm.
TLT. So it's a very flexible strategy for whoever wants to get involved with it.
I understand. Then you're and it sounds like it's a team. You mentioned a team or we, you mentioned, I guess, we a couple times. So what's kind of the background of the team? Are they, spread all over the United States or all over Canada, or where are they? And what's their background?
Yeah, I mean, they're totally everywhere. So Ashley, my right hand lady, she's my operations manager. She keeps everything running.
I get
We
that.
we've got another admin lady from, the Philippines. We've got Ted, who helps answer phone calls and all that stuff. He's our kind of sales and support guy and, social media guy. So there's a whole team of us that kind of run and manage and help everybody. We focus on customer care. So when somebody's got a question, they're answered right away. They can get us on the phone. What we do is not complicated, but there's always a lot of new investors that are like, I've never traded or invested, and so some people need a little bit of insight. But yeah, there's a good team of us, and there's Brian, our options guy. He's very good at teaching and trading, and so we do daily videos for those who want to stay caught up on the markets. And yeah,
Got it. Oh, I got you. So the subscription does have a little bit of a community element because you have daily videos. You also do the subscription model. By the way, I see for those who can't see because some people are going to be listening to this, you've got two books behind you. I'm going to assume you're the author of those two books. Tell us a
I
little bit
am.
about those books.
Yeah, so I wrote my first book many years ago. I think it's 2013, called Technical Trading Mastery. And it's teaching people to get the proper expectations of trading and investing, try to set the right tone. It's not about making tons of money 50% every month or every year. So you got to understand the right expectations to have from trading and investing. I share my most favorite tools on how to identify trends for swing trading, how to identify overbought, oversold market conditions, and how to identify FOMO and panic selling or buying. These are pivot lows in the chart. So that book really shows people who want to get into trading a really clear, eye-opening view. It's only like 120 pages. There's no fluff. I'm like, these are the things that work. This is how the markets work. This is how you have to expect and what to expect. And I share some of my best tools. So if you like technical analysis, Technical Trading Mastery is a good book. The newest one that I published last year is called Asset Revesting, which is the strategy you and I are talking about now. It's about just holding assets that are going up. If nothing is going up, we move to like a cash position, which does earn us daily interest and are still our 4.5% while we're waiting for a wave to roll in. So even when we're not in a trade, we're still growing our account safely without any downside risk. And believe it or not, our strategy is like in cash about 40% of the year. So whenever chaos
Mm,
hits, a lot of times we're not even holding anything because we're waiting for that next wave to roll through. So it really reduces our market exposure, volatility to our accounts, and things like that. But that's what asset revesting is about. It's for people near retirement or retired on how to protect your capital, how we do it in a very relaxed way, and continue to grow our accounts.
I like that name, asset revesting. It's unique. You know what I mean? So what about this? So I don't even know if you could do this, but can you relinquish what your rate of return has been, or is it not possible because of your circumstance?
Yeah, like from the 2008 kind of 2007 market top, we're averaging about 14.3% a year. And which is pretty tough to beat. I mean, that's a pretty amazing strategy. I think the most important part, everybody always wants how much do you make, but it's how much do we protect you from? And so,
In the
for
downside.
example, the S&P 500 fell like 50 plus percent. The buy and hold 60/40 portfolio fell about almost 40% in 2008. While our portfolio, our biggest drawdown has been less than 6%. So we can navigate these markets and walk around them without having to panic and worrying about, this year the markets fell like over 20%, and we actually made money while the markets kept falling. And
Mm.
everybody's like, holy crap. And now the markets are rallying again in 2025. We're long again temporarily. So that's what our strategy does. We remove that volatility, that risk. So who cares what Trump says? Who cares what the Fed does? Our strategy, the market tells us what we need to do, which direction, and our money management, managing those positions, tells us when to trim profits, when to move our stops up, when just to get out. When something loses a trend, just get out and stand aside and go live life while we wait for a setup.
And here's another dumb question. So if they're using your strategy on the equity side, do most of your people also have a financial advisor, or are they basically doing everything on their own, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I would say most of them do everything on their own. Um, some of them hand it off to their advisor and tell their advisor what to do.
Yep.
And then some of them have an advisor for a huge chunk of their capital, but a lot of people like to still trade their own chunk. So I mean, it's always a very diverse. But once you get into trading and you have a good run, it's hard not to want to trade. So people, even the super wealthy with advisors, always have a chunk of a portfolio on their own that they try to manage and try and beat their advisors.
Yeah, I know. That is probably true. Very nice. And by the way, how does someone get a hold of you if they're interested in learning about your program, your books, or who knows, maybe even your portfolio newsletter, etc.
Yeah, the best way to be go to our website, which is thetechnicaltraders.com, or just go to YouTube, type in The Technical Traders. I got a YouTube channel. I share a morning video of what's going on in the markets, and you get a taste of how I view the markets through a lens most people have never really seen before. Everybody says, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." I actually see what's going on. I start to get it. And so that when people see the markets through my lens and see how it plays out over and over again, month after month, people really start to, it builds confidence. And you'll be like, okay, these markets actually can be managed. You can manage money in a very good way if you know what you're doing.
And then, well, I guess I'll ask, how much does it cost to be a subscriber or a member, however you want to term it?
Yeah, for the strategy, it's $2,500 for the year, US.
Got it. Got it. And then with that, if you can outline exactly what they get for that, um,
Sure.
what the newsletter looks like, et cetera, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so as a subscriber, then you get access to a members area website, which is where we post the daily video. And as you mentioned earlier, there is a community. So people comment all day, every day. They share images, they share charts, they talk stuff. So there's a good little community in there. We also have a mobile app. So if you every time I post a video in the morning or send out a trade alert, it pops up on the phone. You can read it, watch the videos on your phone. So you've got everything in the palm of your hand. Twice a month, we do a live mentoring session. So we'll do about a 2-hour mentoring session each time. And really, you just get to ask every question you want. I share my screens. We look through the stocks and the sectors or cover the questions or concerns that everybody has. So it's just a big room of traders, and we all just talk markets and kind of teach whatever it is they want to learn or figure out.
All right. So once again, by the way, let's outline just for the people who can't watch or listen or who are only listening, they could go to the technicaltraders.com website and get some information, sign up, et cetera, et cetera. And then also get your books, I assume, also on what, Amazon.com?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What's one thing as we close up shop? What's one thing we have not talked about that you think can add value to someone who's watching or listening?
I, I think I think if people could understand that there's 4 stages that the stock market or all assets class, including real estate, actually doing a big real estate presentation uh, soon here because real estate market is about to have another big move, I think. But I think the biggest thing is to understand there's 4 stages that all asset classes go through, including real estate. A stage 1 is a base. It's kind of a sideways phase. Stage 2 is a bull market where everything's going up in value. Stage
Hmm.
3 is a topping phase, which I believe the stock market is in right now. It's struggling, it's trying to figure that out. And then a stage 4 is a financial reset, kind of like a tech bubble burst, a financial crisis burst. I mean, 2022 was a little baby bear market. It wasn't a financial reset. So we're not quite there. I think we're going into a financial reset at some point in the next 12 months or so. But people need to understand that as these markets go through these 4 stages, you require a very different investment strategy and you have to manage risk and have proper expectations. for each one of them, because some of those markets you make a fortune, other ones it's like just hold on to your wealth and
Right.
be happy not losing anything. And it's really important to know that, really.
Yeah, I think newsletters do make sense because especially if it keeps people engaged. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think me personally, I mean, for every circumstance, the situation is different, obviously. But what I would say is I think sometimes newsletters make a lot of sense. And it sounds like yours is making money. More than anything, it's saving money on the downside. And I think people think, oh, they only care about the upside. They got to be careful of the downside. Because if you're whatever, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old, you don't want to lose all your money. You want to make sure that you're safe on the downside. That's an
Yeah.
important lesson here.
For sure. And the problem is everybody's reactive. They don't usually want to join something until they just took a beating. And so I'm trying to educate people and be like, listen, there's a strategy called asset revesting. It's not active trading, it's not buy and hold. It's right in between. And there is a way to protect your wealth and grow it at the same time. Without having all that extra risk that's involved in the uncertainty, right? So that's my whole goal, is trying to get people to make a move before it's too late.
Chris, I like it. You're adding value, man. Again, go to the technicaltraders.com. If you have any questions, also vastsolutionsgroup.com. We have resources there as well. Once again, this is Ken French hanging out with you. Vast Voices, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Thanks, everybody.